The Mice in Council. Behind a cozy wall, where sunlight painted warm spots on the floor, lived a lively group of little mice. They loved to play hide and seek among the dusty books, share delicious breadcrumbs found in the kitchen, and live happy, busy days filled with tiny adventures. But their happiness was often interrupted by a giant, looming shadow. This shadow belonged to a big, sleek cat named Jasper, who had eyes like emeralds and paws as quick as lightning. He was always on the prowl. Jasper loved to creep up quietly, his soft paws making no sound at all. He would surprise the little mice, causing a flurry of panicked squeaks and hurried scurrying back to their safe holes. It was a scary game they never wanted to play. Barnaby, one of the cleverest and bravest mice in the group, often spent hours thinking about how to keep everyone safe. He knew they couldn't live in fear forever, always looking over their tiny shoulders. "We must do something," Barnaby told his closest friends one sunny morning, his voice firm. "We need a plan. A real plan. A clever plan that can protect all of us from Jasper." So Barnaby decided it was time for a very important meeting. He called all the little mice together, deep inside their safest, most secret burrow. They arrived one by one, their tiny faces filled with worry and a flicker of hope. "Dear friends," Barnaby began, his voice echoing a little in the quiet room, "we cannot go on like this, always hiding, always running. Jasper the cat is a big problem, and we need to figure out a smart way to deal with him, once and for all." A young, energetic mouse named Pip, who was always full of ideas, jumped up excitedly. "I know," he exclaimed, his whiskers wiggling. "We can build a giant cheese wall around our burrow to keep him out." The other mice whispered to each other, and some even chuckled softly. A cheese wall sounded absolutely delicious, but they knew in their hearts that Jasper the cat would surely eat it in one giant gulp. It wouldn't keep them safe for long. Another mouse, a very strong one named Rocky, suggested, "We could dig a super deep tunnel all the way to the other side of the world so Jasper would never, ever find us again." He puffed out his chest proudly. Barnaby gently shook his head, a thoughtful look on his face. "Those are very interesting and brave ideas," he said kindly, "but we need a more practical solution, one that will truly work and keep us safe right here." Just then, an older mouse named Mortimer slowly stood up. Mortimer was known as the wisest and most experienced of all the mice, with many years of watching cats from afar. All eyes turned to him. "I have a plan." Mortimer's voice was calm and clear, cutting through the quiet. "A plan that will ensure our safety in the future. A plan that will give us a warning. We need to tie a tiny bell around Jasper the cat's neck." He held up the tiny, sparkling golden bell for everyone to see. "Every time Jasper the cat comes near our burrows, the bell will tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. This sound will warn us of his approach, giving us plenty of time to hide." Imagine that. As soon as the bell rings, the little mice can hide instantly, safe and sound. Jasper the cat would never catch them by surprise again. They would always know he was coming. All the mice's eyes widened with wonder. They had never heard such a clever and simple idea. They began to imagine a future without fear, a world where they could play without always being scared. "Brilliant," Pip exclaimed, jumping up and down with joy, his tail wagging. The other mice erupted in enthusiastic applause and cheers, their tiny voices filling the burrow. "It's a perfect plan," they squeaked happily. Barnaby nodded too, a long-lost, hopeful smile finally appearing on his face. The plan certainly sounded wonderful, so simple, and so very effective. He felt a lightness he hadn't felt in a long time. They began to dream of playing freely in the warm sunshine, chasing butterflies in the fields, no longer worrying about Jasper the cat's sudden, silent appearance. They truly felt safe at last, a feeling they cherished. Just as everyone was about to celebrate their new freedom, a very, very old mouse named Agnes slowly stood up. She hadn't spoken in a long, long time, and her voice was usually just a soft whisper. Agnes looked around at all the excited faces, then at Mortimer, and with her raspy, wise voice, she said, "This plan is indeed admirable, a very clever idea. But I just have one very important question. Who is going to bell the cat?" The entire meeting room suddenly fell silent, so quiet you could hear a pin drop. The little mice looked at each other, their excitement quickly fading, replaced by deep thought and a touch of fear that crept back into their hearts. The end. This story is adapted from Aesop's Fables. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. youtube.com/@cuckooenglish